All right, welcome to another tutorial this week. Today I'm going to be showing you how to achieve the lens blur technique in Affinity Photo on the iPad. Now let's get right into it. Now the reason why you want to achieve this effect right here is just to put more isolation onto your subject to give them more focus into the. So this is the reason why you want to achieve this effect. Now usually this effect is achieved in the camera with having a lower f-stop number, such as a 1.8, a 1.2, a 1.4, something of that nature. And of course, just you also got to have them standing, a good far amount away from the background to actually achieve the lens blur to get the depth of field that you're looking for. But you can also achieve this effect by doing a filter in Affinity Photo. And it looks great, but you have to learn how to do it effectively to make it look realistically. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to show you today in this tutorial. Now, as you can see, I did a picture of this couple right here. I'm going to go ahead and show you the metadata to this. Now, this was shot on the D850. I shot this at f6.3, ISO 64, and I shot this with the Tamron 45 1.8 lens. Now, the reason why I chose f6.3 to shoot is because I have two models here, and I wanted them to get them in relatively good focus, considering that they was almost on different planes of focus. So in order to achieve that, I decided to bump it up to a 6.3 so I can, achieve that depth of field in order to get both of them sharp. I also used a flash with this Godox 8600 with a 48-inch deep parabolic softbox as well with this. So let's get right into it, and let's get right into this effect here. Now, the first thing we're going to do is, like always, when you do effects and filters and working in Affinity Photo, we're going to duplicate a layer. We're going to duplicate it so we're not working on the main layer here. Now, after we duplicate that, what we're going to do, we're going to come up here to the selection, and we're going to click on it. Then we're going to click on Smart Selection Brush right there. Now, all we're going to do is just easily just go ahead and select the background. You can change your brush width or your pixel width, whatever the case may be. I just keep it at 64. I like working kind of smallish. Now, as you can see, I got the selection going on now. If you want to go ahead and refine it, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And if you want to go ahead and refine your selection here, just go ahead and click this tab right down here that says refine selection. There's a couple different ways we can do this. We can go ahead and keep it on the selection automate and let it do it itself, or you can come in here and check and switch the adjustment to foreground or background and kind of do it yourself, or keep it on matted, and that would kind of do its own thing there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do background so I can select what I need to select to make sure I can get some of the hair and the things of that nature out of the selection of the background. Now, also, I'm going to do a real sloppy job on here. As you can see, this is looking pretty relatively good right here. I'm going to go to foreground because I see right here that some of the grass and stuff is in the picture. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the foreground and go ahead and just deselect that grass there so it can be in our selection. And as you also notice that I only went to a certain part when I selected the background. As you can see, all this is in red is not going to be affected by the lens blur effect that we're going to use with the filter. Now, the reason why I've done that is because I didn't go all the way down to the leg, because you want to make this look realistic as possible. So in order to do that, you can't select the whole entire thing and give it the same exact lens blur as you do the background. You got to make it seem realistic as to where you're doing it out in the field or something of that nature. Relatively, to get a good idea, just take a look at your picture. As you can see back here, you see all this back here, you see how this is kind of out of focus. You see how that's from a distance, as well as this right here. So that's what I was really kind of selecting, because I know that this was farther away. That's why I got the effect of it more being out of focus than the rock here. After you get everything to your liking, go ahead and hit the OK. That's going to hit the selection. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to come over here to the filters, and we're going to select lens blur. Now, as you can see down here, we have radius, blades, curvature, threshold, factor, and color. I really don't touch the color factor. I keep it 100%. I don't touch the threshold as well. Curvature, I don't really touch that much. The only thing I really play with here is the radius and the blades. I always go up to 9, just because most modern lenses nowadays usually have 9 aperture blades, or you can just find out whichever lens that you used and recreate you know, whatever lens you use, just trying to get more realistic feel. Now with the Tamron 2045, I think it's nine blades if I'm not mistaken, but I'm going to use 9. So after you select your 9 blades, just go ahead and go to the radius and just play with it until you want to get the effect that you desire. So, you know, if you want to go all out with it, as you can see right there, blur the whole entire background out if you want to go out with it. Now, if you want to come down and make it look more realistic and still put that punch onto them, you can do it this way. Now, what I'm going to do, just for tutorial purposes, I'm going to go ahead and keep it at 50. And I'm going to hit live filter right here, which is right there. Go hit the live filter button. That's what we always do, just so we can come back and make adjustments later. We never want to hit the check button to actually affect the photo. We want to make it into a live filter so it gets its own separate filter. So therefore we can go back and manipulate it and change it as necessary. Now, in order to get rid of the white lines that you see going around here, let's just double tap the screen right here. Let's do that again. As this panel will come up and you just hit deselect, and that will get rid of the white lines, dashed lines going around the painting. Now, after you do that, as you can see, if you want, you can come over here and play with the blend modes. Now, I play with the blend modes a lot, and the only thing that really necessarily only looks good and realistic is either normal or average. One of those two are the only twos that I would recommend you using if you're going to do more other. But the thing about the average is just kind of it looks good. Don't get me wrong, you can see right here, it looks good, but it's missing a little bit of something for some reason. That's why I like use normal. I use normal the majority of the time, and I just mess with the opacity if I feel like I got it too strong or not strong enough. What we're going to do now is we're going to blur these steps right here, and then in order to do that, we got to go back to the photo persona, go to your paintbrush tool, click on it, make sure your brush is at white, and make sure your flow is at 25 and your opacity is at 25. This is the key right here. And make sure your heart is at 50. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and just put this paintbrush, sorry about that, we're going to put this paintbrush onto this rock to blur it, but we're not going to blur it as much as you see with the background. We're just going to blur it a little bit to make it look more realistic, as, you know, as the depth of field of changes like it does in normal shots. So we're just going to just blur this out a little bit towards closer to the subjects to make it seem like, you know, we were getting those steps, those depth of field steps in steps instead of just all the way around. It looks like a filter. So this is what you want to do to achieve that almost looking natural look as you've done this in the camera. Once again, I like doing this because I want to I want to get more focus and isolate my subjects here. And at 6.3, even though it was blurred out a little bit, I want to get a little bit more because I felt like that the background was a little bit too much in focus, and it being a lot of greenery and stuff in this photo right here, it was just a little bit too much, and I felt like the eyes were still going to the greenery. So this is the reason why I'm using an effect like this on a picture like this. All pictures vary. So as you can see right there, you can see that this part of it right here is not as blurred as the background part of it. Now, if you want, you can come over here behind them, just over here on the side, do the same thing, you know, and just kind of just play with it from there on out and just blur the same thing. You can really go in there and clean it up as you like. I'm not really going to, but I just want to show you the effect here. And just keep going over and over. You don't want to have your flow at 100%. You want to start very low and just build it up, because if you just start off at 100%, you won't have a chance to build it up to make it look more realistic. You're just going to get that straight, natural 100% and flow capacity, and it's not going to look as good as if you just build it up to try to make it look like it's different steps. Focus plane is going on instead of just one big focus, you know, as that part. So as you can see right here, now if you want to come back up after you get finished and mess with the blend mode again to see which one you like I said, the average is the only one that kind of looks halfway okay with it. You can use average. I really don't mind it. If you really want to get a nice looking photo to look at, average is the way to go sometimes. It just really depends. Now I'm going to cut this on and off to let you see the blends effect that we just did here. That's what it off, and this what is on. I do that one more time. I'm going to cut it off. As you can see, everything's in the focus. See the background. It's, you know, even though this is a great picture, you're not really focused on the subject as much. But when you add this effect and put that blur on them, now your eyes automatically go to the subjects here. That's it for this week's tutorial. I hope you enjoy this tutorial this week. I will make another one next week. Now, if you like this tutorial or would you like to see a specific tutorial, please comment below and let me know, and I will make sure I will get on that and show you and do a tutorial on whichever one, or the community. If I get enough votes on a certain subject as a community, then I would do that one by next tutorial. But if not, I would do one that I see fit next week and just have it on here on the channel. Like I said, if it's your first time on my channel, consider yourself subscribing. And if you do subscribe, please hit that notification bell, and as well as comment and let me know what you like and what you did not like about it, so I can get better with making these tutorials. And also, I also have a behind the scenes video coming up very soon. I will be having that out within the month, and I really appreciate it. This is Stan, or SJ Square Photography, signing out, and I will see you next week. Thank you.